Hey everyone, what's up? How's it going? It's Finite MTG, and we are here this time with a Throne of Eldraine draft. This is my first one, and from the looks, Numot the Nummy is just a couple seats in the way or away in the draft from us. I don't know if there's anyone else notable. I don't see anyone, but all right, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, we're not going to end up playing him, but maybe we will. Maybe that'll even go well. So the rare here, Midnight Clock, not a card I am too excited to first pick, though I will briefly check the price just because you can never be too sure. If it's not even on this page, then it's not a huge deal to me. I think we're going to look at some of the multicolor uncommons here. Savvy Hunter's very good. Inspiring Veteran, I think, is very good. The monocolor cards are not very exciting. Turn into a Pumpkin might be the best one here. So a little rushed for time, unfortunately, in this pick. I'm going to start off with the Savvy Hunter. I think the card's excellent. Normally, I don't think you want to start off with a multicolored card, but I think that pack was an unusual one. We could have gotten rewarded here if we took the red-white card, take the Fireborn Knight. But as it is, I think we're going to take Oakham Adversary over the Spinning Wheel. Cards are both very good. There's also an Ardenvale Tactician, so two strong cards for the red-white knight stack. Spinning Wheel, good for most any deck, especially like a slower deck where you're trying to ramp into things. And then Oakham Adversary, good for pretty much any green deck too. You really don't need it to cost 2 mana to be a good card. Is there anything else I would consider from this pack? I don't think so. But yeah, I think we're just going to take the Adversary here. We could take the Spinning Wheel if we wanted to stay open. But yeah, let's just try this out. I wonder if we're supposed to take the Fireborn Knight over the Ardenvale Tactician if we started off with the Night Lord, pack 1, pick 1. And I assume we probably are. But honestly, I don't even know. Okay, another interesting pack here. Another really solid Knight card in the Acclaimed Contender. Basically, you have a Centaur Courser that can draw you a card if you have another Knight. But the card has to be a Knight, an aura, an equipment, or a legendary artifact, which is kind of a random specification. For us, I think we're going to take the Rosethorn Acolyte. This card's really good. Goes nicely with the Oakham Adversary and the Savvy Hunter that we have so far. Best card other than the rare in this pack is going to be like Trapped in the Tower, I think. Unexplained Vision being somewhere after that. But yeah, I think Acolyte is a really solid card, and I am not unhappy to third pick it. Okay, now things are getting a little interesting. So, a couple good black cards in this pack. Technically, the castle is colorless, but produces black mana, requires black mana to use the ability. There's also a Merrileaf Pixie, which I think is really good, and Belle of the Brawl, which I think is fine. It's actually not very good with what we have so far, and I think I'd rather take the Pixie and try to hedge my bets a little bit than take Belle of the Brawl and just try to force this green-black deck. I think there's also an argument for the castle, but I'm still trying to find the open colors. I don't know how good the castle is. Maybe it's just good enough to take here. That's possible. But I'm gonna try this Pixie. I'm gonna see if green-blue is open. Okay. Not the most exciting pack here. I think we're gonna take the Tree Folk. 6 mana, 6/5 is just okay, but then the additional value of being able to put a couple +1/+1 counters on something, that's good. Best cards in the pack, I think Silver Flame Squire is solid. I think Flutterfox is decent. So again, maybe we're getting punished for not being in Knights. That could be a slightly more open deck. We could have pivoted if we wanted to, but there wasn't like a very clear decision point. We had good cards in green basically each pack, so no real reason to switch what we're doing. Okay. So Trebuchet, that's a good card for, again, the Knight deck. I think we're just going to take this Reaper card, which I don't think is the best, but I haven't played with it enough to say. other cards. There's a weapon rack, which is okay. I think the Elite Headhunter is not particularly good. But we're not seeing a ton of stuff in green anymore. This is the first pack without like a decent green card. I don't think this is a card I want to be main decking in this format, but could be wrong. So I think we're going to take the Reaper for now. We could also take Into the Story. You know what? I think we'll take this. I'm going to start with it in the sideboard because I'm not sure if we're playing blue or not. But I think it's harder to pick up this kind of effect and potentially a stronger card than the other. Alright, we have a nice pickup here in the Malevolent Noble. Very late Inspiring Veteran. Whoever I'm passing to is going to be very happy about this. Other solid cards in the pack, the Spore Cap Spider is fine. But Malevolent Noble, 2-mana 2/2 on the face of it. But the card is actually a huge beating in combat. Really good with something like Savvy Hunter. Just turns food and other creatures and artifacts into basically combat tricks that you don't have to spend a card on. Okay, this pack is pretty bad for anyone who's not playing blue. Got a Witching Well, which I think is a solid card. Actually, we could still be in blue. It's not unreasonable. So I guess we just take that over like the Spectre's Shriek, which, I mean, maybe there's a world where that card is playable, but it's probably not in draft. It's probably like out of the sideboard and constructed, which makes the most sense, I think. But I think Witching Well is a fine card. Okay, we can take the Scalding Cauldron, or as I like to call it, the Scaldron. It was one of the better cards, I think, originally in this pack, so I don't really know what went missing out of it. This was a pretty weak pack to start, though. But yeah, happy enough to wield this. Keeps us a little more open as well. Wow, this thing went all the way around? Okay, I guess nobody likes the Red-White Knights. That's pretty interesting. So if this were the green land, I think I would take it. But I think I'm going to take the Marrowleaf Rider here over that. We still have outs to go green-blue or green-black. I don't think we're playing blue-black. I think that one is clearly off the table. I think we can take a Return to Nature here for the sideboard over a Signpost Scarecrow. I'm not in love with Overwhelmed Apprentice. I think the card is okay. Signpost Scarecrow I do think is playable, but I value getting a sideboard card a little higher here. This is Magic Online, of course, so we are going to be playing best of 3. In this pack, nothing really for us. I guess we'll take this guy. This deck potentially has the ability to make enough mana that we could cast it, but I don't think we're really interested in that. I think Memory Theft is probably a fine sideboard card. We can pass the Shining Armor here, try to put someone else into Knights a little bit more. I mean, we've been doing that the whole draft, right? But I think that's okay. Ooh, Deathless Knight now. That card is quite good. I played a lot with it yesterday, which was the first day of the format, like 9 matches with this card. We have outs to be green-black. Wouldn't be surprised if we were. We've got the Savvy Hunter, which works nicely with it. It's a bit of a combo with the Malevolent Noble as well. The only other cards in the pack for us, I mean, the Sir Farron is like okay, but it's really fragile, even though it has a powerful ability when it attacks. A lot of the time, if you just attack with it, it will die. The Castle Garenbrig, that's another solid one. We don't actually have that much to ramp into right now. I think the Deathless Knight is just too good to pass up here. Ooh, okay, so now we have a Fierce Witch Stalker, which I think is, if you excuse the pun there, pretty much perfect for us. So it makes a food, 4-mana, 4/4, trample. It's probably top 3 commons in the set. Scorching Dragonfire also up there. Passing a Malevolent Noble. There's a chance if someone is in blue-black, we're going to wheel that one. But the Witch Stalker is really just a great pickup for this kind of deck. And I think we can start trying to cut these blue cards. Not super locked into black by any means, but between the Deathless Knight and the Savvy Hunter and the Malevolent Noble, I think we're really trying to edge green-black if we can. Ooh, a Bog Naughty. So 5-mana 3/3 flyer is nothing super exciting. It's a good card. You should basically always play that in your limited decks. A 5-mana 3/3 flyer, cash in a food to kill a creature. That's some good value right there. Curious Pair. Card's been meh for me so far. The food is definitely the best part of it. Wouldn't be unhappy to take it if it wheeled. Foreboding Fruit is probably the second best card for us in this pack. Good removal spells in blue and red, though, in the Charmed Sleep and Scorching Dragonfire. But fortunately for us here, we do have a nice, powerful synergistic card. Okay, so Giant Opportunity, which is a cool card to be sure, but I think it's almost entirely a trap. I haven't played with it enough to be certain. There is some argument for taking it just for science and seeing if it is a trap or not, but why conduct science when I can just watch other people take the card and lose? I think you should probably avoid this card, and I could be wrong, but I just don't think it's very good. I'm going to take Lost Legion, 3 mana 2/3, not very exciting, but 3 mana 2/3 Scry 2, that's pretty good. We've got one double black card already, and we're probably going to be heavier green than black, but I don't think it's a super big deal in this deck. I think we should just take the card that's safe and good for our deck. Passing like a Garen Brig Carver, which I think is another solid card. Could just take another Lost Legion here. It's kind of a late Ardenvale Tactician. Kind of makes me think that whoever I should have been putting into red-white all of pack 1 didn't really pick up on what was going on. There's a Golden Egg, which I think could be fine. We don't really have anything we want to splash, which means it's probably not a super important pickup for us. I think we can just take another Lost Legion here. That said, we don't have too many things going on in the 2-drop slot, and we do have some food synergy, so maybe it's right to take the Golden Egg. I prefer, instead of just a card, I guess it does replace itself. Yeah, I think I'm going to actually change my mind here and go for the Golden Egg. We do have a little bit restrictive costs of our cards here with double black and double green, so I think it makes that kind of thing a little bit better, which is nice, and I think it's just a totally fine card. Synergy with the Merrileaf Rider, the Bognaughty, the Deathless Knight, and the Savvy Hunter, so totally fine stuff there, I think. Okay, in this pack I think we're going to take the Prophet of the Peak. We got a Javier Dominguez in the pack here, Fervent Champion, and Weapon Rack is really the only other card. I mean, we could take Jousting Dummy, but 2 mana 2/1 with pretty marginal upside, not really something we're interested in, where I think Prophet could actually make our main. If we were very short on 2-drops and it were pack 3, I think I would probably be more inclined to take the Jousting Knight, but not right there. I think Wolf's Quarry is not good, but I think it's playable. It does have a lot of synergy with the stuff in my deck. I could take a Witch's Cottage. I don't know if I'm going to have enough lands to activate it yet, though, but I know about how good the Wolf's Quarry is, so I guess I'll pick up the Witch's Cottage for science. Either one is going into my sideboard because I don't count the Cottage toward playables, and the Wolf's Quarry is not a card I'd want to start here. Okay, so another Lost Legion, kind of rewarded for passing the one from before. The other card for us in this pack is a Tuinvale Treefolk. Best card, easily the Rampart Smasher here, very late, just a menace of a card. But yeah, Lost Legion, respectable pickup this late. I think we are potentially in the right colors here, which is nice. Okay, Fell the Pheasant, not a card I love, but it's a sideboard card that I actively want in my sideboard, where Wolf's Quarry is a little bit awkward. I already have a couple 6-mana cards, and I'm not actively trying to play it in my deck, where Fell the Pheasant could solve some problems that this deck has in Game 1. Ooh, Malevolent Noble Wield. Wow, that's super good for us. So we were light on 2s, and this is one of the best ones possible, if not the very best one for us. So super happy about that. I think I was considering that as a possibility when I first saw the pack, but yeah, pretty happy that that worked. The Hengewalker I don't think is a very good card. I think if you're in a monocolor deck, then it's great, but I think if you're not playing a deck with like 12 plus sources of one color, it's just not very exciting. Getting a 3/3 for 3 is not a very big payoff. It's a good card if you can reliably get it on turn 3, but I don't think it's something you're going crazy for. The Wildwood Tracker here, I think that one is going to end up in our sideboard. It's usually going to work as a 2/2 in our deck. We'll take another one here as well, but unless we are light on playables or stuff for the early game, now I think we can take this Griffin. No need to pass someone this powerful of a card. Not that the Griffin is amazing, but still. Gilded Goose, you say. Is that card worth anything? Nope, not if I spell it wrong. Gilded Goose. It's worth a few tickets, and it's probably the best card for us anyway. I do think it's pretty nice. I mean, just making a food every turn in a deck that cares about food a lot, I think is super good. I already discussed Giant Opportunity. I think that card is a trap. Other cards in this pack, the Oakham Ranger, I think is one of the worst cards in that cycle. Sage of the Falls might be decent. I've got one of them in a sealed pool right now. Haven't played any matches with it, but we'll be reporting back shortly whether I like the card or not. Prized Griffin is fine. Queen of Ice is solid. But yeah, it's going to be a goose for us. Okay. Pretty unexciting pack for us here. There's a Giant Skewer, which is a pretty nice combo with the Deathless Knight. I was playing a lot of that combo yesterday. It's just really easy to get the Deathless Knight back in play when it's making a food every time and deals damage. Otherwise here there's like a Spore Cap Spider, which could actually be a better card for us, or even a Scalding Cauldron. We're pretty light on removal right now. Do we have any removal? We have Bog Knotty, sort of. We have one Scaldron, but that's actually it. So, I mean, second pick Scaldron is pretty ugly. I think we wheeled the one from before. So I guess I'll just take the Spore Cap Spider and hope this thing wheels. It's not good removal by any means, but when your deck only has one removal spell, you might have to do what you have to do. I like the Spore Cap Spider because it makes me less reliant on something like Fell the Pheasant, especially in game 1 where I don't want to play a dead card. Nice. Okay, so two good cards for us here. We have the Order of Midnight and we have Outmuscle. I'm not really sure if this is an Outmuscle deck or not, but I think Order is good in basically any deck. I mean, this is like a flying Gravedigger basically, except it can't block, so I think that is a pretty solid card. Outmuscle I think would be good in this deck. We have enough big stuff. We have the Witch Stalker. Lost Legion's fight is 3/4s, and then of course if we just get the Adamant, then our creatures are likely to survive anyway. Outmuscle might be better, but I'm going to start off taking the Order here. I think the card is quite good, and I'm excited to see how it plays. Nice art as well. Ooh, Foulmire Knight, that's another good one for sure. Getting these nice value uncommons in black. Curious Pair in the pack, which again I think is fine, not particularly exciting. Barrow Witches I think is a good card in the Knight deck. I think we have two Knights right now, Merrileaf Rider and Order of Midnight. Oh no, the Lost Legions are Knights too. I think that, oh, Deathless Knight. Wonder if that one's a Knight. Oh, huh. Anyway, we're going to take a different Knight over the card with the Knight synergy, just because I think Foulmire Knight is a really solid card. 3 mana to draw a card and lose a life is a little clunky, just because you want to be doing other stuff with your mana some of the time, but I still think the card is solid, so we're going to take it. Ooh, another Order of Midnight. Nice. And we've been wheeling these Malevolent Nobles fairly often too, so there's a world where we can potentially chain Order of Midnight into Order of Midnight. But regardless of whether or not we're able to do that, I think the card is good. Almost definitely the best card for us here. A little bit sad now about the Hunt the Weak effect that we passed before. Lochthwain Paladin or Smitten Swordmaster, I think. Again, Barrow Witches. I guess we do have more hits than I thought for that card. We have double order now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the Rider, 6 with the Knight. This is sort of a 3, sort of a 1. 7 here. I don't think I'm missing any, but it's not like I'm clicking all of them to check the type line. So 7 hits, I might play one of these if we wheel it. For now, I think it's reasonable to take the Locthwain Paladin. 4 mana, 3/2 Menace I think is playable. It's another night if we do wheel one of these Barrow Witches, and I think Smitten Swordmaster is not really necessary in our deck, though this could be a cut for sure. Another Malevolent Noble. Now I think we're talking. So there is a Giant Skewer, which I don't think is a great card, but it's starting to look pretty good just because we're really getting a ton of these good 2-drops for our deck. And again, we still have the Deathless Knight, and that's a really nice combo, but pretty happy about this Malevolent Noble. Ooh, Revenge of Ravens. Very late Revenge of Ravens. This card is one of those cards that you look at and you say, okay, this is a 4-mana enchantment that doesn't affect the board. But it's a 4-mana enchantment that doesn't affect the board and gradually wins you the game. It punishes your opponents for attacking. It keeps you alive. Think of it as a Cumberstone, as it just reducing the power of your opponent's creatures. Eventually, it's going to lock them out of the game from attacking. I think this card is quite good. Should not be going that late. And later in the format, I am not expecting that it will. So that's a nice one for us. We do have a bunch of black. We could end up going heavier black, so I'll take the Witch's Cottage now over the Lash of Thorns. Let's see, Giant Skewer on the wheel. That's nice. I think that's just better than Ginger Brute. My deck is not very aggressive at all, and especially now that we have the Knight plus Skewer combo, we can potentially just stay alive forever, or at least an arbitrarily long amount of time. Jousting Dummy, not a card that we really need. In fact, maybe we just hate the red card out of this pack. Yeah. Okay. Barrow Witches, we now have a bunch of Knights for that. We could also take a Reaper of Night. We only have one ramp card in the deck though, and I think this could actually be worth trying. So we're going to pass on the Reaper for now. Witching Well, I think, is better than the Turtle. And a Halberd. I've heard some people trying to use that card in some green aggressive decks, but I haven't built one of those yet. But this deck looks pretty solid. Not sure exactly which cards we're going to cut. I assume we're going to play like 23 cards total. But let's check out the sideboard. I don't think there's anything from there that I want to play right now, except for the 2 Witches' Cottages, which every time I say that word now, which I think I'm pretty likely to want in my main. The only double green card in my deck is the Fierce Witch Stalker, and I'm generally just much heavier on black than green. Which is weird because green was way more open in pack 1, and then packs 2 and 3, that's when the black started flowing. So I'm not cutting the Revenge ever. I can't cut the Scaldron, unfortunately. I think it's pretty reasonable to play both of these cards as well. We've got a lot of stuff that interacts favorably with them. So I guess we're going to start looking at creatures to cut. It's not going to be either of these. It's not going to be the Orders, though they're not the best defensive cards, as they can't block. Definitely playing all the Nobles we can. Probably playing the Merrileaf Rider as well, though I'm a little less certain about that one. Definitely playing these guys. Probably playing Spore Cap. Definitely playing these. That. And probably at least this. So I think these are the cards potentially on the chopping block here. So I think this is going to be a 17 land deck. So I'm only going to end up cutting 2 of the cards from this pile. I think this deck is going to be able to, let's see if we add lands right now. Like if we put in this card, let's say we also put in like this. Yeah, 11 and 7, well, what? Oh, okay, I'm missing one more card, that's why. Let's try again. 10-7, interesting. So now what I'm wondering is, do I want 7 green sources? I'm kind of thinking I don't. So to turn on the Witches' Cottages, I think I'm going to want a bunch of swamps. So I think what I'm actually going to do here is cut one of each of these and then add in the cottages, because by not having double green, I potentially risk not being able to cast the Witch Stalker, but there are so many like double black cards, and this cares about like triple black. These care about having 3 swamps. I think it's really important that I can have all of the correct sources that I need. That said, even though I think Mirror Leaf Rider is like fine, I might try to cut it, because from the 2-drop slot I really don't want to have green on turn 2. That said, the Gilded Goose is just too good in this deck to try to cut, though I could see an argument for one more green source to accommodate it. So there's Sporecap Spider and Prophet of the Peak. Could cut the Witches and the Rider and play each of these, and I actually think that's pretty reasonable. Because if we're cutting the Rider, then we're losing a Knight anyway, which makes the Witches worse. And I think the Prophet is a stronger card, and our deck cares a lot about defense, except for the Orders, which again are pretty aggressive. But yeah, I think this deck is solid. I think it's going to be tough for people to kill us, and yeah, I am excited to see how this goes. Let's combine groups. There we go. All right, take a screenshot here. And let's dive into round number 1. We are not playing Numot. Nice. Okay, let's play first. This hand is going to be a keep. Pretty nice one here. Going to lead on the Nobles. There's potentially an argument for playing Egg on turn 2 if we don't draw a land here, but, well, drawing a Forest was pretty bad. But not the end of the world. I think we still go for a turn 3 Noble. I would love to draw a Swamp, but we'll see. Opponent is on white-blue. Interesting. Trap it in the tower. Okay. Well, that's a nice one for my Noble number 2 then. That's just like a free counter right there. Not to mention the Order of Midnight can eventually get that one back. Passing. Okay, not really sure what kind of instant speed effects are available in this set yet. I think something I could do here, and it's actually pretty reasonable, is if I attack, I can then go here, I can sack this, and then alter fate the order to return that. I think that's actually pretty good. Okay. Alter fate. Nice value turn there. Mana efficiency. Oh, they have a counter for me? Oh, that's annoying. And countering my what was I going to say? Countering my adventure card really deprives me of some value there. Okay, turtle. Sure. So we can't play and equip this, so not too much of a reason to do that yet. I think what I want to do here is just play the egg, tapping double green, trying to see if I can hit a land. And then if we do hit a land, we can play the Lost Legion. If not, we can still play the Giant Skewer. Okay. Might as well attack here. See if they want to play around a combat trick or not. They are not going to. Okay. Skewer it up. Right now it's not looking like we're going to have time for the draw card on the Foulmire Knight, but we'll see. Weapon Rack, okay. Make a 2/5, or a 2/6 actually. Sure. I think what I do now is just equip and attack. We are playing this fairly aggressively, but I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. So now it's a 5/4 If they decide to block, then I can sack the egg here. If they don't decide to block, I might still sack the egg. In fact, I think I will. I don't really care about the mana fixing at this point. I just want to use my mana efficiently. That said, I'm not going to get a food token because they didn't block. I think that's okay. Takes 6 damage, which is quite a bit. I didn't foresee this deck being aggressive, but against a slower opponent, I guess we'll do what we can. Ooh, Sir Alan. That's a good card. Probably turn this into a 5/5. Yeah, okay. Nice, okay. What do we want to do here? So 6 mana, which means we can play the Lost Legion. What would I rather sack here? This is an awkward turn. I think it's better to play the 1/1 Death Touch and attack. Force them to think about blocking like that, and then I can jam the Lost Legion. Or I guess the Lost Legion doesn't do almost anything. Yeah, it really doesn't, does it? Sure, we can do this. Again, I don't think this card does almost anything, so I think I'm fine sacking it to the Noble if they decide to block. Ooh, these are both good hits. I think we take the Prophet first. So now if the opponent decides not to block, you can just play the Foulmire Knight, which can trade away here. Yeah, I think that's fine. Alternately, we could draw a card off of that, but I don't think we really need to draw a card now. We're getting to a point where if we just play the Revenge of Ravens, the opponent's going to lose, which is pretty nice for us. So yeah, we can actually play the Foulmire Knight. If we want, we can chump with the Lost Legion and then sack it here. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Shine Chaser, okay. Probably want to put a counter here. Okay. No attacks, interesting. Well, okay. The Shine Chaser does have Vigilance, and I think I want to stop their aggression, so I'm pretty tempted to play the Revenge. We also lose some value on the Prophet because they have a 6/6 first strike in play, and because we already know one of our cards, so scrying isn't as good. So I think this is fine. As long as they don't counter this, we should be in good shape. Nice. If I had to guess, the opponent is currently reading the Revenge. Okay. Turn target creature. That's annoying. So they get to reset this in terms of counters. Yep. probably afford to attack with this one now. Unless they really fear that drain. Wow, I guess they do. Nice. So I think now we're just going to play the Prophet. These cards don't really affect the board anyway. We're just going to look for some kind of flyer or something to try to close out the game. Well, that is a flyer, and we can equip it with the thing. And I think the Witch Stalker doesn't actually do much here, so sure. Bottom U, top U. Funnily enough, the Goose is a 0/2, which means we can equip it. It becomes a 2/3, which means they have to double block. We can also just start making foods and drawing cards with the Savvy Hunter, which is pretty nice. Might as well play out our hand here. They already know our last card. No reason to attack. Okay. And again, they can't really attack with the flyers. Like, we could equip here if we wanted to play defensively, but I'm just not sure what they do about this. Can untap something? Sure, that doesn't matter. It's pretty tempting to just draw a card here with the Savvy Hunter. Not sure I have any reason not to do that. Yeah, I guess I might as well, so. We'll do this. Then we'll do that. And this card, I guess is fine. I think we are just going to equip here, which does seem a little bit odd. But I think protecting the Goose, if at all possible, is important. And now we have a sack up too. We've got some more 2/2 flyers in our deck. Like Order of Midnight would be maybe our best draw, or one of the best draws. Okay. Flyer does not matter. The Revenge is just doing a ton of work here. Sure, I mean, we can play this out. Doesn't really change anything. We need one more food to get a thing anyway. We don't have that yet, so I'm just going to cast this. Playing land doesn't really change anything. No need to empty our hand here. Not sure if the opponent's going to figure out that they really cannot win this game, but it's starting to feel like there's not something in their deck that's going to do it. Unless they have some kind of crazy mythic. So we make a food. Then we get to make another food next turn and draw a card. We've drawn 5 of our 6 forests. Okay. I guess we can put the counters there. We're pretty much already all in on that, though. If we put the counters there, it turns into a 4/5. Yeah, I guess that doesn't really change anything. It can't survive combat anyway, so no real reason to do that. Just gonna play land and pass, I think. Maybe it was better not to play this out, just in case they have a Wrath. That is something that could get them out of this position. Not very easily, but could start. Okay. Sure. Don't really care about that. I also don't know why you would do that right there. All that glitters. Interesting. So that's a 7/7. Okay. I think this is fine. Maybe I should have waited to do this, because it looks like they're getting ready for a big attack here. Another one at sorcery speed, but with only one card in their graveyard. Yeah, it looks like an all-out attack is coming. But if they... yeah. Oh, no, they're just getting the things out of their hand to grow this. Sure. We can take a hit for 7, though. Like, not that we really have a choice, but I think it's totally fine. They only have a few attacks like this anyway. Wow, okay, I don't think this one should get frisky, but that's up to you. Only one card in hand. They're attacking me for 11, but I'm going to gain 2 back, and they're going to lose 2, more importantly. And then they're eventually just going to be in a place where, unless they have life gain, they will just die. That is what the Revenge of Ravens does. So we could be in a spot next turn where we're trying to chump with the goose. Not sure why they didn't shrink that one. Chump with the goose, make a food. It makes another food, and then that draws us a card. Anything we want to put the counters on here. Turning the goose into a 4/5 doesn't really stop this, so I don't think that matters. So I think we're just passing here. If they get rid of the goose, we might lose. Looks like they have another... oh, they're going to bounce that. Interesting. Well, we're going to do this. We can gain 3. I wonder if they can kill me or not here. They can't attack with 3 creatures, pretty importantly. Okay, I think I'm supposed to take this damage. So now they have the counter in their hand for the goose. So that's a good play on their part. The turtle. Okay, that doesn't really matter. Okay, so I think I lose now, actually. Or wait, no I don't. All I have to do is equip this to something and attack. So, could be almost anything, really. But then what do? Do I try to gain life? So I can crack foods twice, gain 6 life, then I gain another life if they attack me with a thing. I think that's okay. Oh, interestingly, I have to beat the 6/6 first striker, so I have to have 7 toughness. So I have to use the tree folk. So let's do that first. Good thing I figured that out. That could have been bad. So let's do this. Sure. Then we'll do this. Oh, we're gonna run out of mana, aren't we? No, I think we have exactly enough. That's pretty good. Okay. So we attack with this. They have to block it. Doesn't really matter what you put in front of it. Sure. Unfortunately, I only get one food from this. Oh wait, I lied. So they give me 2 foods, which isn't really relevant here. But all I have to do now is, like, I have 3 lands here and I have the Rosethorn Acolyte. So all I have to do is crack some foods and then they can't kill me. Man, what a weird game. Okay. I imagine this is attacking. Yep. So now we do this. And now we do that. And we were dead to an artifact or an enchantment, but we are at 1 life, and so are they, and they can't attack. And we got the Order of Midnight, which is awesome. So now we play the Goose, which gets countered, and then we Order of Midnight back the Order of Midnight, getting back the Goose, and then we win the game. So Alter Fate, get back Order of Midnight. And then we Alter Fate, getting back the Goose. And I think we outplayed him a little bit here. And now play this Order. Play this Order. And I think we can just pass here. Okay, so now all we have to do, they have 3 flying blockers. All we have to do is, let's see, oh, this thing survived combat? Weird. Okay. I guess we can draw a card. Witch's Cottage. Seems decent. So what I think I can do now is target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. So I can equip this to the Goose, attack with all 3. I get to eat 2 of their, no, I get to eat 1 of their creatures, and then I get to do this. Yeah. I think that's fine, because I think this wins me the game. I think I'm doing this correctly. So we do this. Okay, so we actually lose all of our guys. Eight on this one and the 3/3 on the other. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We might as well actually sack this one. That one. Okay. Now we Witch's Cottage. Getting back Order of Midnight. And we just get to do the same thing over again. As soon as we don't have a reason to play that out, right? Should just pass the turn here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now we go for the same thing. Alter Fate. Getting back Order of Midnight. Now we Alter Fate. Getting back the Goose. Goose. Pretty absurd. Another food. Order of Midnight. And Order of Midnight. And this time it should be lethal. Might as well play the land. I'm going to pass the turn. I'm pretty sure we got him this time. Okay. So now we go equip. Might as well draw a card. Sure, that would have been helpful a little bit before. Nice. So that took forever, but it was a good game. That's pretty much everything this set is about so far. I'm gonna have to try to play this next one a lot faster, unfortunately. They did have some flyers, so I think Fellow Pheasant makes sense. Other sideboard cards, I don't really think I have any. Is there anything that was like straight up bad? Maybe a Lost Legion? Sure, I think that's fine. Okay. That was an exciting game. Nothing in there. Nice stuff here. Good hand. So we can go turn 1 Goose, turn 2 Egg, turn 3 Oakham if we just find a land. Can also go turn 3 Deathless Knight. Okay. I am almost out of time here, so I'm going to try to put on the aggro pressure if possible. Could have a counter here. I guess I just go for the Deathless Knight. Sack you. Turn 3, 4-2 haste, go. Okay. Land would have been nice, but now we can go Scalding Cauldron and shoot this guy down. Okay. Not ideal. Now we can go for this guy, I think. Alternately, I could have gone to Unveil Treefolk, put 2 counters on the Deathless guy. Sure. I think what I'm going to do here is actually this. Maybe that's unreasonable, actually. Maybe we should just do that there. Who cares? Okay, they trade, makes sense. Okay, another one, doesn't matter. Just trying to make this game as simple as possible by ending things early. Shine Chaser is a 1/1 flyer. Okay, it's not going to cut it. We have some sack things up if they go for a combat trick here. They're going for that. I think that is okay. Now I think I go for a Prophet of the Peak. Not very different from the Tree Folk, except it sets up my draws for the next couple turns. Don't really want to draw lands at this point. That's a lot of mana. Okay. Trapped in the Tower. Okay. We have anything good for the Order? That's not bad. In fact, why not? Is making a... Yeah, maybe making this guy is just better. Okay, Shine Chaser. Six five still trades with the 5/6. Now we've got a nice play set up here if they make this trade. Interesting. Okay. How about this? How about Order of Midnight? Getting back this. And then we play this. Play the Goose. And now we get to start putting counters on things and going nuts. Opponent has a Flutter Fox, that's okay. Now we get to pay 2, sack this guy. The Shine Chaser shrinks, and now we get to 2 Unveiled Tree Folk here, or Oaken Boon rather. Play the land for sure. Attack for 4. This loses flying as well. Pass the turn, get to make a food and sack it. Wow, and we got him. Alright, well that was a pretty fun game 1, pretty unexciting game 2, but that's how it goes sometimes. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back with round number 2.